Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of The Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight we are going to focus on the presidential elections of Egypt, which will be taking place here in the country in the month of December. For the Egyptian expatriates living outside of the country, it will be held on the 1st of December and until the 3rd of December, from the 1st until the 3rd, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. As for the Egyptians living and residing within the country, it will be held on the 10th and until the 12th of December, which will be a Sunday, Monday and Tuesday of December. We'll be having the results of the presidential elections by the 18th of December, and no far and no better than the 16th of January if there was a runoff in the month of January of 2024. Of course, the presidential elections will be pitting four different presidential candidates. The presidential candidate Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Farid Zahran, Hazem Omar and Abdel Sanad Yamama, all vying for the presidential candidacy and of course winning the presidency for the development of the country, for the betterment of the country and into a new path for the new republic. All this and more during the episode of the Daily Debate for tonight, but we will be heading to the first top stories. We have three different items for the top stories that took place on Sunday. We will be starting with the activities of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, and under the title of Integrating Brains and Machines for a Better World, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli witnessed the inauguration of the 27th round of the International Conference and the Exhibition for Technology in the Middle East and Africa on behalf of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and we will be having more details regarding this event in the upcoming report. Stay tuned.
Under the title Integrating Brains and Machines for a Better World, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli witnessed the inauguration of the 27th round of the International Conference and Exhibition for Technology in the Middle East and Africa on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Speaking at the inauguration, Madbouli said the information technology field is a priority on the state's agenda. He said there is keenness to keep up with technological appliances as there is belief in their impact on the development sectors. Following the inauguration, Madbouli inspected a number of pavilions of the exhibition, including those of the Central Bank of Egypt and the Ministers of Justice, Education, Higher Education, Scientific Research, IT and Communications, and Health and Population. The armed forces were also represented at the exhibition through the Unified National Network for Emergency and Public Safety. Madbouli also toured the pavilions of the Arab Authority for Industrialization and the Egyptian Space Agency, as well as the Financial and Digital Investments Company, which gave review of its activities in the field of digital transformation in the governmental sector and expansion plans in neighboring markets. Later, Madbouli held a press conference stressing that the Egyptian human element is of the best with regards to dealing with technology. He was speaking after the inauguration of a number of international companies working in the field of remote services in Egypt. He said Egyptian youth are the cornerstones of technological industries.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate and continuing the top stories for today. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry stressed the necessity of a ceasefire in the Israeli war in the Gaza Strip that entered the seventh week, saying that the population is facing a humanitarian catastrophe that requires a full, safe and sustainable flow of aid. This came at a meeting with the Qatari Minister of International Cooperation, Lulwa Al Khatir, who has visited North Sinai's Al Arish and Rafah cities to ensure the delivery of the humanitarian aid to Gaza. Shoukry called on the Israeli occupation forces to stop withholding part of the aid or delaying its entry on purpose in order to create unbearable conditions to the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip. Shoukry expressed the Egyptian deep appreciation for the Qatari efforts to solve the humanitarian Gaza crisis and implement an immediate and unconditional ceasefire. Both ministers also renewed the complete rejection of the displacement of the Palestinian people inside or outside the Strip. And from the statements made by the Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry to the activities of Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry, as along with the committee formed by the recent Arab Islamic Summit, it will begin a tour to drum up support to ending the Israeli aggression on Gaza and handling the deteriorating humanitarian situation in the besieged enclave. Along with Shoukry, the delegation comprises the foreign ministers from the Palestinian Authority, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Indonesia, as well as the Secretary General of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation. The tour includes a number of UN Security Council member states, beginning with China on Monday. Prince Faisal said that the tour will be the first step in carrying out decisions reached at a joint Arab and Islamic summit held in Riyadh on November the 11th. From the activities of Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry and the tour that will be beginning with the Arab Islamic delegation to China on Monday, we will be heading to the activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the past week, but in the upcoming report, so stay tuned.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received a phone call from the Prime Minister of Norway, Jonas Gahr Støre. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated the third Intra-African Trade Fair. The presidents of Zimbabwe and Malawi attended the event, as well as senior officials from the African Union, in addition to the multilateral African organizations and banks. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received the President of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa, at Al Ittihadiyya Palace, who visited Egypt. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received a phone call from the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received the French Minister of the Armed Forces, Sébastien Lecornu, in the presence of the Minister of Defense and Military Production, General Mohammad Zaki. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inspected a number of roads and axes in Greater Cairo. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received Mrs. Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Union Commission. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received a phone call from the French President Emmanuel Macron as part of the ongoing consultation between the Egyptian and French sides regarding the escalation in the Gaza Strip.
Welcome back. You're still watching the daily debate. As we did see in the past report, the presidential activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi over the past week. But we will be heading to the main topic for the daily debate for tonight. As I mentioned in the beginning, that we will be focusing on the Egyptian presidential elections that will be taking place here in the country in the month of December for the Egyptian expatriates at the beginning of the month from the 1st and until the 3rd of December. December, and for the Egyptians residing within the country, it will be held on the 10th and until the 12th of December, pitting four different presidential candidates at the same time, comprising the presidential candidate Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Farid Zahran, Hazem Omar, and Abd al-Sanad Yamama. We will be having a report about the presidential elections that will be held here in the month of December, as a state is set for the stage, the set for democracy here in the country, leading to a new republic. All this and more in the upcoming report, so stay tuned.
Chambers of the National Elections Authority of Egypt, a critical stage has been set for the 2024 presidential elections. The preliminary list of candidates is now confirmed, featuring incumbent President Fattah al-Sisi, Farid Zahran from the Egyptian Democratic Party, Abd al-Sanad Yamama of the Wafd Party, and Hazem Omar. Behind these names lie stories of ambition and determination that will shape Egypt's future political landscape. The journey to the ballot box is a stringent one. Each candidate's eligibility was confirmed after careful scrutiny of their documents and evaluation of their endorsements. The committee ensured that each individual received the required backing from at least 20 members of the House of Representatives. Furthermore, each candidate needed to secure support from at least 25,000 voting citizens across 15 governorates, with a minimum of 1,000 supporters from each. President Sisi, seeking a third term, has secured the most substantial backing. Within just 20 days, he managed to garner endorsements from 424 parliament members and an impressive 1.13 million citizens. However, Zahran, Yamama, and Omar have also achieved the requisite endorsements, marking their presence in the race. President Fattah al-Sisi came into power following landslide victory in 2014 elections after the June 30th revolution in 2013. His political career has been marked by his roles as Minister of Defense and the Director of Military Intelligence. His campaign promise is to continue his efforts for Egypt's betterment. Hazem Omar, the head of the Republican People's Party, has secured his candidacy through endorsements from 68,071 citizens and 46 parliament members. His party leans towards the center-left, and his electoral program is inspired by transformational leaders who turned their debt-ridden countries into economic giants. Abd al-Sanad Yamama, the head of the private international law department at Munofia University, is also in the race, receiving 27 endorsements from parliament members. His campaign promises a comprehensive vision of reform to save Egypt. Farid Zahran, the head of the Egyptian Social Democratic Party, has secured 30 endorsements from parliament members. He is a democratic socialist and one of Egypt's prominent student movement leaders in the 1970s. His electoral program focuses on political and economic reform to improve living conditions of Egyptians. The presidential elections scheduled for December 2024 will be a decisive moment for Egypt. The National Elections Authority has set strict requirements for candidates, ensuring only the most endorsed and qualified individuals stand for elections. The elections will reshape Egypt's future and democratic path. In the chambers of the National Elections Authority